How you doing? Through my daughter, I'm aware of an Australian vlogging family called the Norris Nuts. And up until recently, I just thought, yep, another run-of-the-mill family exploiting their kids. You can see the makings of all kinds of hell for the children when they grow up and realise, yeah, we got the money, but we were never actually consulted, and indeed we weren't old enough to make those kind of decisions before Mum and Dad put us in front of the cameras. But there's been a bit of a dark turn recently, full of contradictions and real exploitation of kids. A month or two ago, this family got a puppy. Didn't go to a rescue place as everybody recommends. They spent $8,000 on it, 8,000 Australian dollars. And a few weeks in, there was some accident, whatever that means, and the dog was killed. And there's a video by the two grown-ups, 5 kids involved in this family, and you've got to give you some kind of picture. They're obviously happy kids, but they are just allowed to be whipped up into frenzies whilst filming. And there's no sort of parental, calm it down. Those things are essential for kids to understand the concept of boundaries and not growing into complete and utter spoilt brat monsters when they hit their teens and beyond. Anyway, the two grown-ups, the parents, did this video from their car. One of those classic YouTuber apology admission videos. We don't know how to start this. We were toying with not doing this video. This is going to be really hard to do. You've heard it a million times before. And they say, fair play to them, but they do contradict it. Don't watch this video if you're a kid. Maybe get your parents. Watch one of our happier videos, and they're going to explain what happened with this puppy. Now, the kids refer to their viewers, I think they've got about 5 million subscribers. They call them legends. And there's the two grown-ups just about to explain or make excuses for the death of this puppy. And they say, get rid of the kids. This isn't for you, but I think it needs to be out there that we describe it. And they instantly contradict that by saying, we need to make this explanation because some people out there aren't legends. And they will twist what we say and make up their own story as to what happened. And I just instantly thought, you've just told the kids to avoid this video, and this is more of a description and explanation for the grown-ups, the parents of your viewers. Then you refer to people as not being legends. I think you can see the contradiction instantly. They've done videos over the years where the kids have been worrying about the mum's health, and she's actually used it as some kind of in-family prank. They were aware of the fact their mum's had skin cancer, light-skinned Australian, very average thing. And the kids are quite often, especially with this subject, there was a video of them worrying and speculating, mum might have cancer again. The kids make the videos, edit the videos, and everything like that. And, whipping your kids up into a frenzy and worrying them that you might have a terminal disease as a part of a YouTube prank. In light of this puppy's death and the piss-weak explanation as to what happened, they did everything that you're told not to do and instantly went out and got another puppy. Now, this is something that feeds into something I was talking about the other day, about people who are just so blissfully unaware of other cultures and what other things might mean. It's like you'd have thought, in amongst all of the British technicians on The Last Jedi, Star Wars The Last Jedi, they'd have said to Rian Johnson, the writer, no, don't use that line, it means something totally different in English. But Snoke, the baddie, the villain, describes Rey, the hero, her heroics in the film as, when she's standing up to Snoke, he says, you've got a hell of a lot of spunk. In Britain, it's a very common, more of a sort of juvenile description of the substance known as semen, sperm. And, you'd have thought that culturally, Rian Johnson would be aware. Us in the UK, and I'm sure it's pretty much worldwide, we understand all American slang because of the Americanisation of culture. But it is amazing. This is building somewhere with this family I was talking about. It's just amazing when people are that culturally blind. But yeah, this replacement puppy, to add insult to injury, the kids have decided, the parents are blissfully unaware of this, obviously, and I'd have thought it's a pretty much international euphemism they're going to call their new puppy Winky. A very popular British euphemism for the male member, the penis. How can... I've said enough. Once went from a house renting situation where I got on very well with my next door neighbour's kids, and quite often used to sit them, as it were. You know, I'd look after them. They were always welcome in the house. And there was a fire exit because of the way the house was built. It's a weird setup that was between our two houses that had locks both sides, and sometimes we used to just decide to open it up and have a free huge house. It was a lovely setup. Anyway, the son, who was 12 years old at the time, 12 years old, slurred that slightly, used to come round and he'd play games. Dave, would you mind if I played a game? And you know, he'd quite often just play Halo on the original Xbox and that kind of thing. I moved on from that house, and that was a difficult thing to do, but I moved into a situation where the landlady, who was renting me out a property adjacent to hers, had a 12-year-old kid herself. And on the opening day of living there, he said, "Do you want to play a game?" And I was setting up my Xbox and TV at the time, and I said, "Yeah, sure, what do you want to play?" And he said, "Jenga, please." Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a bit of old school wooden gaming, you know, but this kid was brought up in one of those really hardcore fundamentalist hippie environments, and he had no awareness of anything other than toys that were fashioned by a jigsaw and an old wizened sort of wizard man who lives in the woods on his own. And this isn't an exaggeration or a situation that I'm embellishing. His toys genuinely were made by a wizened old wizard man who lived in the woods, a guy called John. He's probably long dead now, thinking about it. He was in his late 70s then. But you know, I'm not criticising anything other than just bringing up your kids without any awareness of what's going on around them. I can remember kids at school who were 13, 14, 15 at the time, who were so culturally neutered. Oh, I wouldn't listen to that, wouldn't go there, wouldn't try that, you know. And we've all met them. But I can remember one person in particular who was such a bright and vibrant spark, but he had been so culturally and societally neutered. And it's sad, it really is sad. Now, I'll admit that there are aspects of life that I denied myself because of the cult-like mentality which dogged a lot of my early formative years, being involved in animal rights and apparently kind of free-thinking movement like anarchism and all that sort of nonsense. And it was such a mental prison. All of these cliches and platitudes about freedom of speech and action and thought, if you went against any one of the more strict regimented rules and regulations of that kind of movement, you were cast out and absolutely damned with regards to your reputation. But it's powerful stuff when you get into cult-like mentality. You know, there are still certain people now I'd be quite awkward around, or I'd find myself feeling quite embarrassed about certain things that I've decided are no longer important to me because I've gone against the grain of the kind of cult political ethos, as it were. Such a universal difference between those really intoxicating people that we come across whose lives are so full that they haven't done certain things and probably never will, but they'd never write them off and they'd never have a downer on other people for doing it. And then you get those people who've decided, oh no, I wouldn't want to try that, wouldn't want to do that, wouldn't want to go there, or I've heard a lot about those people. And you know, they don't challenge anything within themselves. And yeah, I've met people, I can't quite put it into words what I mean, but they are absolutely intoxicating to be around. They're so full of life, and they just embrace everything that they get into. You know, they truly do absorb, function, and exist and live in the moment. And you know, I can only ever dream of being that person. Long past fantasizing myself into being that shape, because I'm just not, you know. But yeah, those kind of people, it's amazing to see those people who just really do embody the whole sort of size, breadth and scope of the universe. And then there's other people who are no bigger than the living rooms that they grew up in, the ideas that were formulated there, that were bred many generations before, and they never challenge them. Being around those people can be something you can't really control as well. You know, they're like a 10-piece slot machine. You put your put your money in, turn the handle, and out comes bubble gum. You can see the clear glass egg that it's all contained in. You turn the handle, the bubble gum's going to come out. But still, you kind of forget. You have an optimism about them, and you think, you know, I'm gonna put some money in. I'm not gonna just assume, just because I've seen it 1,000 times before and they're that transparent, that I'm gonna get the same thing out. Optimism stays alive, and no matter how many times you put the 10 pence in, every so often you forget and make the mistake of thinking you're going to get something different as a delivery of what you've invested in. You know, they never change. They're excruciating people, and you can never. They always think they're right. That's the thing. That's what I can't handle about any kind of political ideology, is that people always think they're right, and in such a complicated world and so many different viewpoints and aspects that we all witness in our own unique ways, can never believe anybody's got hard and fast politics. Nothing's ever this simple. But to finish this off, I've got one friend who is exactly the same as a 12-year-old as they are in their 50s. Never do anything that was even remotely dangerous. Absolutely loathe and detest the life that they chose. And just recently I thought to myself, yeah, you imagine actually doing something that injured yourself and killed yourself, doing something you love that actually took you away from this life that you loathe so much. Would it really be such a bad thing? Now, I know you can't reduce people's desire to live down to silly little statements like I made prior to this, but you know, it does make you think. People's desire to live, even though their life has just done nothing but disappoint them. You know, even to the point where they loathe and detest their life, but they still want to stay alive to go and work 39 hours a week minimum to support a life that they hate. It's baffling, especially when historically they wouldn't try anything to get themselves away from that. It's a funny world. Oh, to see ourselves as others do, I guess.